What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the In the Ring Show with your host, Devious Damien, and this is my review of tonight's Monday Night Raw. So we kick off the show with a segment with, "Look at me, I'm John Laurinaitis, and I tell you week after week who I am, even though most of you know, but don't give a shit about me anyway." Bringing out Brock Lesnar, and then they talk for a minute, and then Triple H comes out and says that the terms that Brock and Laurinaitis negotiated last week were no longer going to be in effect, and that they were going to just go back to the contract they first agreed to. Laurinaitis tries to interject, Triple H stops him, and Laurinaitis says that he's not being fair, he's going to take it to the board of directors, and then Brock attacks Triple H and supposedly breaks his arm, and Brock is escorted out of the building, and so on and so forth. Oh, and before I go on, I do have to mention this. Tonight, the Bella Twins were fired. And no, this was not a worked storyline. It has been reported on Bleacher Report. It's been reported on WWE.com. The Bella Twins have been fired. Also, what's being reported is that Rey Mysterio has been suspended for 60 days due to his second wellness policy violation. So where they're going to go from there with Rey Mysterio, I don't know. But I'm just getting those two tidbits of news out of the way just before I continue my review. Now back to the Raw review. Tonight we had a series of beat your cock, or beat the clock, or what the fuck is the difference, like it fucking matters. First one was Miz beats Santino to set the time of 4 minutes and 18 seconds. So then Layla beats the Bellas in a triple threat match, and it was right after that it was announced that the Bellas were fired, but I read it on Bleacher Report right before the match started. So, yeah, I kind of already knew it. Plus, for those of you who didn't know, it was already being speculated that the Bellas were quitting the WWE, leaving. So their firing wasn't really a big surprise. So, another Beat the Clock challenge. Chris Jericho beat the Big Show by countout, but didn't quite beat the time, so The Miz was still the Beat the Clock winner at this point. Brodus Clay beats JTG in what was pretty much a squash match. Orton beats Jack Swagger, beats The Miz's time, and he set the time at 4 minutes and 16 seconds. So we crown new tag champions tonight. Kofi and R-Truth beat Epico and Primo. And then AW goes and says he wants to represent Epico and Primo. And they agree to. So there they go. Kane and Khali in a Beat the Clock challenge. No winner. No contest. Daniel Bryan was on a Beat the Clock challenge with Jerry the King Lawler, and as if it was any big surprise that it was going to happen, Daniel Bryan very easily beat Randy Orton's time and made Lawler tap out in just over 2 minutes. So, like I said, no surprise. We all knew that once Daniel Bryan's opponent was announced as Jerry the King Lawler, that Bryan was going to be the time to beat. But actually, I'm not upset by that. I do kind of want to see a Daniel Bryan and CM Punk feud. I think that those two are very excellent wrestlers, and they could have great matches together. Now, granted, I don't want to see this feud carried on too long, but I do think that you could carry this thing out over the course of a few pay-per-views without it getting stale. So then, John Laurinaitis brings out Cena to tell him who his opponent for Over the Limit is going to be. And at first they make you think it's going to be Lord Tensai. And then all of a sudden after they assault John Cena, then Laurinaitis decides that he says your opponent's going to be me. So it's going to be Laurinaitis and Cena at Over the Limit. Now, whether or not they're actually going to let Laurinaitis step in the ring for a change, I don't know. I don't foresee this actually happening. I foresee some twist and turn in the storyline, and it does become Cena and Tensai. But if somehow they do actually let Laurinaitis and Cena wrestle a match, if they actually do let this happen, boy, has Laurinaitis got desperate. Or has WWE gotten desperate to get Laurinaitis over? Because it's almost as if the light finally went on over their head and they're like, gee, this guy is not over. I got an idea. Let's put him in the ring with John Cena. He'll get over that way. Do you really think that putting him in the ring with John Cena is going to work? Or is this, Laurinaitis, trying to abuse his power and think he deserves a main event spot when he's boring and nobody likes watching him in the first place? But I don't really blame Laurinaitis. I think it's the creative writers doing it, and I think they know how Laurinaitis is not over. I do call him Boronitis for a reason. He is boring. I'm sorry. When a guy goes out there and he talks like this the entire time, and he sounds like he's been smoking for 10 years too long, that he's not over. And when he can't cut a promo, when his idea of a promo, I've made this joke before, but I'm going to keep making the joke because it bears repeating. Well, if you don't got it, get it. And if you don't get it, figure it out. A 2-year-old could cut a better promo than that. I'm sorry, I'd rather listen to a 2-year-old go, you're a pimpy hen, you're a fat face, and my dad can beat up your dad. I'd rather hear that than that bullshit. I mean, come on. So tonight's Raw, it was alright, but I don't know, I just felt that them trying to get Laurinaitis over by putting him in the ring with Cena, I think the WWE, when it comes to Laurinaitis, Boronitis, whatever, point is, they're shooting themselves in the foot with this guy. They're spinning their wheels. They gotta figure it out. He'll never be over. It's just the way it is. He will never be over. I mean, once again, I know a lot of people are going to say, he gets booed because he's a heel. No, he doesn't get booed because he's a heel. They're booing him as if to say, get the hook, get this motherfucker off my screen. Do you know how many people who are watching at home probably want to take the remote control and throw it through their TV screen? Why? Simply because, yeah, they'll have to buy a new TV, but they'll say, well, at least I don't have to see this jackass on my screen if I break my TV. God knows I've been tempted to throw the remote at the TV a couple times just to not have to look at this asshole. Just saying. Yeah, I'd have to buy a new TV, but like I said, at least I wouldn't have to see that douchebag. The only reason I watch WWE is because I'm a wrestling fan and I cling to some hope that it'll get better. And sometimes you think it's going to. And it has to some degree. But Laurinaitis is a failure. He will never be over. His shit will never work. And the WWE needs to understand this. I'm sorry. I've said this before, but I'm going to keep saying it until it sinks in with somebody who has some authority to change shit in the WWE. Because, okay, maybe they themselves never watch my videos. That's fine. But to you, those of you who do, you know people, and those people know people, and then those people know people, and the chain goes on and on and on. Maybe, just maybe, somewhere down the way, somebody somewhere who's seen my videos knows somebody who works in the WWE and can actually say, hey, guess what? He's right. Damien from the In the Ring show is right. Laurinaitis is not over. I mean, come on. Even if I wasn't what I consider to be a smart mark, Anybody can see Laurinaitis is not over. He doesn't get booed because he's a heel. Nobody wants to see him. X-Pac years ago got booed for the same fucking reason. Not because he was a heel, but people got sick and tired of seeing his bullshit. I mean, Vince McMahon never seems to learn. When you shove somebody down somebody's throat, somebody who they don't want to see, and it's almost like Vince thinks, we'll keep putting them out there, the fans will accept it, the fans will accept it. Guess what, Vince? When did you... Back in the 90s, you should have learned. With Lex Luger, did that work? No, it didn't. You tried to make him be the next Hulk Hogan. You failed. You tried to push Diesel as some big monster. You had him kick out a Shawn Super Kick at a 1 count. The fans booed Diesel out of the building. That didn't work. And then you were forced to turn Shawn Michaels babyface because of your fuck-up. Point is, Vince, you think that if you put something out there enough, the fans will accept it and they'll go with it. And that's not the case, Vince. Nobody wants to see Laurinaitis. Nobody does. There's a difference between getting booed because you're a good heel and getting booed because nobody wants to fucking see you. Big difference. Nobody wants to see Laurinaitis. And I know some of you will say, the guys at the Off the Rope show do. I think they're just being sarcastic. Because if you actually are a fan of theirs, you will see how Schleg Daddy has bashed Laurinaitis several times. Saying, how does this motherfucker have a job? I think those guys are being sarcastic with their liking Laurinaitis. God, I know if I pretended to like him, I'd be being sarcastic and have trouble giving him a straight face the entire time. But anyway, I could talk forever about how my opinion of Laurinaitis and how stupid he is, and how stupid Vince McMahon is for trotting him out there every single week, hoping maybe just one day it'll get over. Because it won't. Vince, I beg you. I know what you're trying to do and I can respect it. You're throwing shit at the wall and you're seeing what sticks. Okay, and I can respect that. But Laurinaitis is not one of the pieces of shit you're throwing that's sticking. It's not working. It's time to grab a new pile of shit and throw it at the wall and see if it sticks. Yes, I know some of you may think that's disgusting, but it's an old metaphor that was used back in the day. Throw shit at the wall, see what sticks. Laurinaitis isn't working, Vince. Try something else. Teddy Long is more over than Laurinaitis. And that you put this boring bastard in a position of power and you feature him more prominently than you do other guys? For Christ's sakes, you've given Laurinaitis more TV time of late than you've given to Alberto Del Rio, who just came back. And Del Rio is a much bigger star than Laurinaitis will ever be. Fucking Christ, man. Anyway, what did you think of tonight's Raw? Tell me your thoughts. I'm going to say I'll give it a C. What did you think? What grade would you give it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? So anyway, subscribe, like the video, comment down below. For the In the Ring show, this is Devious Damien, and for the past few months, I've been wasting your time because you're watching me while you had something better to do. Good night, everybody.